So here we are again. Today we're going to be trying out the Pocket 4K. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Source Awareness and Tyler Saito. I really appreciate your comments and feedback, and yeah. So last time, working with the OG, it was a good experience. Of course, I should have taken the recommendation at the beginning about the indie filters. I think it makes a bit of a difference, but of course the magic happens in post, the color grading, but it does make a little bit of a difference. It's, you know, shooting with a cinema camera just it's not like shooting with a DSLR. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
So what do you think of the overall experience from last time besides the ND filter thing?
It was fine. I think from looking at the footage, a lot of the footage turned out fairly good. I feel like, as I was just saying, I feel like most of it was rescued, or it really took shape in the editing phase. The color grading is what really made the difference.
I have a quick question because I said this in the video. Do you know how to color correct, or do you know color grading?
I know a little bit about it, but not as much as I probably should. I know the basics.
Okay. And what are you expecting with today's video, with the 4K?
So yeah, like I say, a little bit sharper images, 4K obviously. Maybe try some different frame rates to see what that looks like. And yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna take the cage or no cage today?
I'm gonna take the cage.
What equipments do you plan to take with you today?
Well, I was thinking I might try the anamorphic lens. Not starting out, but I think I'm gonna try that and see what it's like. Other than that, that's the one I'm most interested in checking out. Other than that, we'll see. This one is the TT Artisan 50.
This is the one you used last time.
Yeah, I want to try to compare, stick with what we did last time, except for the anamorphic.
How was your experience with the anamorphic lens? Because anamorphic lens, even like on the Pocket Original, it's a little different than the 4K because 4K has the anamorphic option, so you can actually see how it looks like on the 4K. But on the original, which you used last time, what you're seeing is a squeezed image.
Exactly.
So it becomes a little tough to frame, and the shot actually looks ugly, and then you have to work on it in post. So how was that experience?
Well, it was a new experience, having shot with it the first time with an anamorphic lens. I want to do a comparison, or see the comparison to see, you know, what the full image looks like, and see. I just like the anamorphic look, and I want to see what the color is going to look like once it's complete. But I'm really interested in the Tina lens to see what it looks like this time around.
This is not the Tina lens.
Where is it? Oh.
The Tina lens is on the GH4 over there.
Oh.
If you want that,
We can take, yeah. Let's try that one.
By the way, explain what is Tina lens, because the audience wouldn't know what that is.
The Tina lens is a lens that we used for one of the shoots in Akuma. It was in low light, and the image came out, it was a very beautiful image. It had a very nice depth of field, and it just had a feeling after the color was done. just had a very nostalgic kind of feeling. So it was a really nice image. So you're gonna have to link that one as well.
So Tina lens is basically 7 Artisan 25mm at 1.8.
Yeah, that one. I didn't know exactly which one, but it was a nice one.
One thing as well from last time I noticed, you didn't change a lot of my settings.
No, I feel like once you get the settings, if the settings is right, I don't think you need to change the settings a lot, except for when it was getting, I should have changed a little bit when it was getting darker. But I was more interested in at that point in what I was looking at in the camera. I wasn't really thinking too much about the footage because we had shot, we had shot so much. I figured, we have what we need.
So quick advice, either take off the ND filter after it gets dark,
yeah,
or from 400 bring it down to 2.
Yeah. Well, actually today I might start a little bit. No, we'll see. I was gonna say I might start a little bit higher, but we'll see. Okay, we have the anamorphic lens. Then we have the 50mm. Then we have the, what is it, 14 here?
14 to 32.
14 to 32. All right.
And the 25mm. So how's it been so far with the Pocket 4K?
So far so good. Definitely the name doesn't fit the model. That's one of the biggest differences about the original. It's pretty bulky. The cage adds a little bit of weight. As far as shooting, I started out with 120, so I'm interested to see what the images that come out of that looks like. I was actually kind of surprised at how big to learn how big the file sizes were going to be. But yeah, so far so good.
And today you've used more lenses than last time. So.
Yeah, but I haven't used the final one, say the best for last, anamorphic lens.
But so far, which lens has been the best amongst the 3 lenses you've used?
I would say this last one, the Tina lens, the TT Artisan lens is probably the best one so far.
7 Artisan.
7 Artisan lens. Sorry, 7 Artisan.
One thing I actually forgot to mention last time, that you have actually shot with the Blackmagic original a lot at one point in 2020. And also we were going out a lot and we were switching the cameras quite frequently. You would use the 4K, then while I'm using the OG, and then you would use the OG while I use the 4K when we were making a film.
Oh,
and
yes.
we also share Best Cinematographer nomination, not a victory, a nomination together for that.
Yes, that's true. I'm sure that they know where to go to check those, check out that.
It's gonna be there.
Okay, yeah, so check it out. It's very good.
Funny thing, I remember the first time we shot together. Do you remember what did you shoot mostly? Because that's an unplanned film. It was, it kind of happened on the spot.
You're gonna have to refresh my memory.
Because when we were out there with the cameras, you had one, I had one.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just getting the shots, and then this is when you also had the gimbal. And when I came home and I saw the footage, I told you what came out mostly.
Yes, I do. But I'll let you tell us. Yeah, I remember that. I thought it was a good shot, though.
Good shot or shots?
Hey, we like what we like, right?
Nothing wrong. You're a single guy.
Well, you have to shoot what catches your eye. and I like shooting beauty, and we were just out, you know, playing around.
So I guess that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah. Although I did shoot some, I also shot some cotton. What do you call those little things that?
Allergies.
For me. I call them cotton, but here
pollen.
Pollen, yes. Those, you know, what's funny? I was thinking that I would like to shoot that this year in maybe like 60 or 120 and see what it looks like.
There are a lot of 120 frames in there.
Did we shoot that in 120?
There's a lot. It's gonna be on the screen now.
Okay.
As we talk.
Please show it. Okay.
So, yeah, there were two things actually, now when I think about it. One thing was, which happened last time by the way, you weren't switching the ISO. So there were overexposed shots.
Yeah.
But funny thing is, all the shots which had girls in them were completely fine.
Okay, you caught me.
Which one, because you have held both cameras, the 4K and the original, which one would you prefer if you've given the choice?
Definitely the original. The form factor, the size, and the image. I just like the image that comes out of the original. So yeah, I would go with that one because you can get pretty much the same image. Well, not the exact same image, but you can get a similar image out of a lot of, you know, a lot of 4K cameras these days. But the original is the original.
This is a question you probably aren't expecting, but I'm throwing it there because you know my feelings about that camera, but your feelings are very different about the specific camera I'm going to talk about now. If you're given the choice between Blackmagic Pocket Original and Sigma FP.
Sigma FP. I'm going with Sigma FP.
You're gonna go with Sigma FP?
I'm going to go with Sigma FP because I feel like the camera gets a bad rep now, but like the original, I think in like 2 or 3 years, that camera is going to be a pretty sought-after camera.
Okay.
I have that feeling, but we'll see how well this statement ages.
All right. Nothing. I just wanted to throw that question because it's also a pocket camera. So
yeah, exactly.
It's probably the second smallest camera, which is not a box camera, because the 4K is quite big. It's bigger than most DSLRs, but Sigma FP, I have seen it personally, that camera, and it's quite small. It's thicker.
And it's also very hard to get your hands on these days as well.
Used or new?
Used.
Yeah. There's a reason behind that.
I'm not gonna go there right now.
So very quickly, a few points I'd like to mention, just some feedback. Most of the mistakes I notice are same as last time. Moving with the camera, not switching ISO, 50mm TD Artisan, that was the second lens you used. The issues are pretty much the same as last time. The only difference is he wasn't aware that after he shot in 120 frames, he was still in the HD mode, which is a crop mode, and he was using the 50mm. So that's why it wasn't really 50mm at that point, because later he used the anamorphic lens, which is also 50mm, and by then he was in the 4K sensor area. Also, at the beginning we were shooting in alleys, so it was a tighter space. Later it was more in an open space, so 50mm works better in open space, especially if you're on a micro four thirds sensor or if you're using a crop sensor. One thing that I noticed that most of the issues that were there were focus and light based issues. Like I said, that not switching ISO and not adjusting the aperture or shutter speed, because all these things do come together and they affect the light. Some of the good things, I think the framing is good, and also the whole idea of moving with the camera I think is good. I personally like moving shots. I like both. It's just that you have to pick the right settings and you need the right equipment to do that. Also, it's better with a gimbal, I feel, or if you're going handheld, then maybe a bit slower movements are better. And framing is good. I think biggest issue remains focus and working with the lights. That has more to do with understanding the settings of the cinema camera.
So shooting with the 4K was pretty much the same as shooting with the original. Of course, the size is probably the biggest difference. Obviously, I prefer the size of the original. It's just easier to handle. Even though this time with the 4K I had the cage on, the cage actually gives it a little bit of weight, but I didn't mind the weight. Is just the balance of it, I guess you would say. Shot a little bit at 120 frames per second, a little bit at 60 frames per second. I'm interested to see how the footage turns out. Again, I was surprised at the length, how quickly the 120 frames per second, how quickly it could get up to like 3 minutes for a single shot. The 60 frames per second, I think those are going to turn out fairly well. Shooting first with I'll say this: the 50 millimeter lens, I didn't find very useful, simply because it was hard to get a good shot with that particular lens. Again, the 7 Artisan I preferred quite a bit more, but I really like the look. Not having seen what the footage is going to show, I really like the look of the anamorphic lens. And yeah, that's about it.
So which one do you prefer now, original or 4K?
Definitely the original. The camera does make a little bit of a difference. I did figure that out. Oh, by the way, the suggestion about the white balance, that makes quite a bit of difference. I did notice that. I think white balance is something that a lot of beginners and new filmmakers kind of skip over, but it's very important. I noticed that today.
And what about the sensor area thing? Because you weren't aware that you were shooting in HD sensor initially.
Well, we shot, I wasn't aware at first, but shot a little bit in HD, shot a little bit in 4K. So I'm interested to seeing how the difference in the look for that, especially at 120. That was mostly, I think we shot all 120 in HD. And a little bit of 60 I think we shot a little bit of 60 in 4K. All of it in 4/3, which I think is going to look pretty nice. So yeah.
So if you have to pick between the 7 Artisan or the anamorphic, which one would you go for?
I would definitely go for the anamorphic because I just prefer that look, but don't sleep on the 7 Artisan. Actually, the Tina lens is actually quite nice. I tried to do a little bit of, and I don't know how to turn out. It might not even be usable footage, but a little bit of manual focus with that. But we'll see. I wanted to get that coming into focus look from the washed out look.
And what about the automatic lens? The one you used last time and again this time?
The automatic lens, I can't really say, but I'll say this much: the stabilization at 60 frames per second just seemed a little bit more smooth. And that's just from shooting. I don't know what it's going to show in the footage, but just from walking around with it, moving around, it just seemed to work a little bit better for me.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you again. And hopefully in future we'll find another camera for you to test out, something you haven't used. So what are your thoughts? You can let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If possible, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
So shooting with the 6K was pretty much the same as shooting
4K.
with the 4K. Sorry. Again. You're gonna have to wait till I finish my candy.